The text arrives at 11:47 p.m. on a Thursday and it changes everything. I think we met before, 5 years ago at Powell's bookstore. You dropped your books. I helped you pick them up. Did you ever find what you were looking for? I stare at my phone screen, my thumb hovering over the keyboard. The blue light illuminates my bedroom, casting shadows across the posters on my wall, mostly vintage book covers and prints of Portland in the rain. Outside my window, October wind rattles the branches of the maple tree, sending leaves skittering across the glass. My heart does something strange. A skip, then a stutter. 5 years ago, I was 10. It was 3 months after Dad died. Mom had taken me to Powell's City of Books downtown because I'd stopped talking. Not selectively, not dramatically. I just stopped. The grief counselor said I needed to find my voice again, whatever that meant. Mom thought books might help. I remember that day, the smell of old paper and coffee, the endless shelves stretching up toward the ceiling like a cathedral made of stories. And I remember dropping my books, an entire armful, when a man bumped into me, rushing toward the exit. But the person who helped me, I closed my eyes, trying to pull the memory into focus. A boy, maybe a little older than me, dark hair, kind eyes. He'd picked up every single book without saying a word, just handed them back to me, one by one, and when he gave me the last one, The Secret Garden, he'd smiled. "This one's my favorite too," he'd said. Then he was gone. I never knew his name. Never saw him again. Until now, my fingers shake as I type, "Who is this?" The reply comes fast. "Sorry, should have introduced myself. This is Dylan. From Lincoln High, we met in the library on Monday. You gave me your number." Dylan Cooper. My chest tightens with a strange mix of disappointment and relief. Of course, the boy from the library 3 days ago, not the boy from Powell's 5 years ago. They couldn't possibly be the same person. But then why would Dylan Cooper mention Powell's? Why would he remember something that happened when we were kids? Unless I screenshot the message, zoom, and study every word. The area code is 503 Portland, like mine. But something feels off. The tone, the way he writes, it's more vulnerable than I expected from Dylan Cooper, the confident junior who talks to everyone, who moves through the halls of Lincoln High like he belongs everywhere. "How did you remember Powell's?" I type. "I never forgot. You looked so sad that day." I wanted to say something else, something that would help, but I didn't know what. So I just helped with the books. My throat tightens. This is exactly what the boy from Powell's would say. But Dylan Cooper, the same Dylan Cooper who I'd barely spoken to before Monday, I set my phone down, pressed my palms against my eyes. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe he really does remember. Maybe my phone buzzes again. "Sorry if this is weird. I've thought about you a lot over the years, wondered if you were okay. And then when I saw you in the library on Monday, I recognized you immediately." I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. This is him. This is really the boy from Powell's. The realization hits me like a wave, warm and terrifying and impossible to fight against. I type, "I did find what I was looking for. That day, eventually." "Yeah, what was it?" A reason to start talking again. There's a long pause. I watch the three dots appear, disappear, appear again. "I'm glad you found it. Your voice is worth hearing." I don't respond. I can't. The words blur on the screen. Instead, I lie back against my pillow, clutch my phone to my chest, and let myself feel something I haven't felt in years. 3 days earlier, the library at Lincoln High smells like old carpet and possibility. I'm in my usual spot, the corner by the window, where afternoon light slants through the glass and turns dust motes into tiny galaxies. My dad's Polaroid camera sits on the table beside my chemistry textbook, next to a growing pile of instant photos, the maple tree outside losing its leaves the way shadows fall across empty chairs, the girl from my English class who always falls asleep during study hall. I'm not supposed to take photos in the library. Mrs. Chen, no relation though everyone always asks, says it's disruptive. But she's not here right now, and the light is too perfect to ignore. I line up a shot: the window, the tree, the October sky bruised with clouds. Click, whir. The photo slides out blank and waiting. That's a beautiful shot. I freeze. My finger is still on the shutter button. The voice comes from behind me, masculine and warm. I turn. Dylan Cooper stands 3 feet away, backpack slung over one shoulder, wearing a Lincoln High soccer hoodie and an expression I can't quite read. Not quite a smile, something softer. Sorry, he says quickly. Didn't mean to startle you. You didn't. My voice comes out quieter than I intended. I mean, you did, but it's fine. He gestures to the camera. Polaroid. Yeah, it was my Dessa's. Cool, very vintage. He steps closer, careful like he's approaching a nervous animal. You take a lot of photos. Sometimes. Of what? I shrug. Things people don't usually notice. Like dust. I blink. Look at the photo still developing in my hand. The dust motes are visible, caught in the light like snow. Yeah, I said, like dust. Dylan smiles, really smiles this time, and something in my chest loosens. I'm Dylan, by the way. We have history together. Third period. I know. Then realizing how that sounds. I mean, I've seen you in class. Right. You sit in the back, by the window. He noticed. The thought sends a small spark through me, unexpected and dangerous. I'm Mia, I say, even though he probably knows. I know. He mirrors my words, and there's something playful in his tone. You're the one who corrected Mr. Harrison about the date of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. My cheeks heat. I shouldn't have done that. No, it was awesome. He was wrong. You were right. Dylan shifts his backpack. So listen, I know this is random, but there's this photography club that meets on Thursdays. After school, we do photo walks around Portland, critique sessions, that kind of thing. I thought you might be interested. I stare at him. You're in a photography club. Trying to get more extracurriculars for college apps, but also, yeah, I like taking pictures. Not as good as you probably, but he trails off, and for the first time he looks uncertain. I didn't know you took photos, I say. There's a lot people don't know about me. He says it lightly, but something flickers in his eyes. Something real. The moment stretches. Outside leaves spiral past the window. So, Dylan says, Thursday? Photo club. You in? I should say no. I should tell him I'm busy, that I have too much homework, that I'm not good with groups. All of these things are true. But instead, I hear myself say, maybe. Can I think about it? Yeah, of course. He pulls out his phone. Here, let me give you my number. You can text me if you decide to come, or even if you just want to talk about photography or history or dust. He grins, and I find myself almost smiling back. Okay, I say. He hands me his phone, and I fumble with it for a second before pulling out a pen from my backpack. Just write it down, I say, tearing a corner off my notebook paper. I don't have my phone with me. This is a lie. My phone is in my pocket. But the thought of him watching me type my number into his phone, of being that close of him, seeing my hands shake. Sure. He takes the pen, the paper. I write down my number. Or at least I try to. My handwriting is terrible. Mom always says it looks like a nervous bird walked through ink. And the paper is small, and Dylan is standing so close I can smell his deodorant, something clean and woodsy. And my hand is shaking because this is Dylan Cooper, who everyone likes, who belongs in a way I never have, and he's asking for my number, and I finish writing. Hand him the paper. Thanks, he says, studying it. I'll text you tonight about the club. Okay. See you in history, Mia. Then he's gone, weaving through the tables toward the exit, and I'm left standing in my corner with my camera in my racing heart and a photo of dust that's finally finished developing. I look down at it. The dust motes are clear now, suspended in light, beautiful and fragile and temporary. Like this moment. Like everything. That night, I'm lying on my bed with my phone in my hand when Cameron knocks on my door. It's open, I call. My brother pushes inside, 12 years old and wearing his Minecraft pajamas, even though it's barely 8 p.m. His dark hair, the same shade as mine, inherited from Dad, sticks up in 17 different directions. Mom wants to know if you did your homework, he says. Yes. She also wants to know if you are coming down for dinner. I ate already. This is also a lie. I had a granola bar 4 hours ago. Cameron doesn't move. He shifts his weight from foot to foot, a nervous habit I recognize because I do the same thing. What, I ask Powell? Nothing. Cam? He sighs, comes further into my room and flops onto the beanbag chair in the corner, the purple one Dad bought me for my 10th birthday 3 weeks before he died. School sucks, Cameron says. I sit up. What happened? Nothing, just people are jerks. What people? It doesn't matter. But his voice cracks on the last word, and I know it does matter. It matters a lot. I swing my legs off the bed. Cameron, tell me. It's just this kid, Marcus. He keeps... It's stupid. It's not stupid if it's bothering you. Cameron picks at a loose thread on the beanbag. He keeps calling me names, saying my drawings are weird. Yesterday, he shoved my sketchbook in the toilet. Heat flashes through me, sharp and protective. Did you tell a teacher? No. Why not? Because it'll make it worse, and Mom will freak out, and then she'll want to homeschool me or something, and I'll never have any friends. He's not wrong about Mom. After Dad died, she became careful, overprotective. Every late pickup from school is a potential disaster. Every cold is possibly pneumonia. Every friend is a source of anxiety. I get it. I do. She lost the person she loved most. She's terrified of losing us too. But Cameron's right. If we tell her about Marcus, she'll panic. Okay, I say slowly, don't tell Mom yet. But if it happens again, if he touches you again, you tell me immediately. Deal. Cameron nods, relief washing over his face. And Cam, your drawings aren't weird. They're amazing. He almost smiles. You have to say that. You're my sister. I say it because it's true. He stands at heads for the door, then pauses. Who were you texting? Oh, nobody. You were smiling at your phone, like a real smile. You never smile at your phone. Go away, Cameron. He grins a real one, the kind I haven't seen in weeks, and ducks out before I can throw a pillow at him. Alone again, I pick up my phone. No new messages. Maybe Dylan forgot. Maybe he lost the paper. Maybe my phone buzzes. Unknown number. I open it. Hey, this is Dylan from the library. That photo club meets on Thursdays if you're interested. My heart jumps. I type fast before I can second-guess myself. Hi. Yeah, I'd like to know more about it. Cool, it's pretty casual. We meet at 4 p.m. in Mr. Rodriguez's room, room 214. Bring your camera. What kind of stuff do you photograph? Anything, really. This week we're doing an assignment on things that are broken. What do you think you'd shoot? I look around my room, at Dad's camera, at the crack in my mirror I've never fixed, at the beanbag chair with its seams coming apart. I'm not sure yet, I type. Maybe I'll know when I see it. That's the best kind of photography, the kind that finds you. We text for 3 hours. About photography, yes, about the club, but also about other things. Books we've read, music we like, the way Portland feels different in autumn, like the whole city is holding its breath. Dylan is funny, thoughtful. He asks questions and actually waits for answers. And somewhere around midnight, when I should be sleeping, when I should be worried about chemistry homework and Cameron, and the fact that Mom hasn't smiled in 3 days, I realize something I haven't felt this light in years. Day 2. I see Dylan in history, but he doesn't sit in his usual seat. Instead, he's in the front row talking to Sarah Mitchell, the girl who always knows every answer, who's probably going to Harvard, who wears the kind of confidence I'll never have. He's laughing at something she said. My stomach twists. I tell myself it doesn't matter. That last night was just friendly. That's all. I take my seat by the window, pull out my notebook, try to focus on Mr. Harrison's lecture about manifest destiny. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I shouldn't check it. Mr. Harrison has a strict no phones policy. I check it anyway. Harrison's toupee is especially crooked today. I bite back a laugh, look up. Dylan is turned in his seat, looking right at me, grinning. He mouths, seriously, look at it. I do. Mr. Harrison's toupee is in fact listing slightly to the left. I text back, maybe it's trying to escape. Can't blame it. I'd escape, too, if I was attached to that much boring. Manifest destiny is not boring. You're right, it's horrific, which is different. Exactly. See, this is why I like you. You get it. I stare at those 4 words. This is why I like you. My heart does that stuttering thing again. Pay attention, I type. You are going to fail. Worth it. I put my phone away. Try to focus. Fail completely. After class, Dylan catches up with me in the hallway. Hey, he says. You coming Thursday? Maybe. That's not a yes. It's not a no either. He studies me for a moment, and I resist the urge to look away, to hide. You don't like groups, he says. It's not a question. Not really. Yeah, I get that. He shifts his backpack. What if I told you most people don't show up anyway? Usually it's just me and maybe two other people. Basically like hanging out, but with cameras. Why are you trying so hard to get me to come? The words come out sharper than I intended. Dylan's expression flickers surprised and something gentler. Because, he says slowly, your photos are beautiful, and I think you'd make the club better. But also, he pauses, also I like talking to you, and I thought maybe you liked talking to me too. The hallway swirls around us, lockers slamming, people shouting, the usual chaos. But in this moment, it's just Dylan and me, and this terrible, wonderful honesty hanging between us. I do, I say quietly, like talking to you. His smile is soft, real. Good. So I'll see you Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. Cool. He starts to walk away, then turns back. Oh, and Mia, bring your dad's camera. I want to see what you shoot. Then he's gone absorbed into the crowd, and I'm left standing there wondering how he knew the camera belonged to my dad, wondering what else he knows about me, wondering why that doesn't scare me the way it should. That night, Dylan and I text until 2 a.m. We talk about everything. Childhood pets. He had a dog named Rocket. I had a goldfish named Mrs. Dalloway. Favorite movies, he likes sci-fi. I like anything with subtitles. The things that keep us up at night, for him, the future, for me, the past. He tells me about his family, his dad who works as a mechanic, his mom who's a nurse, the way they met in a hospital when his aunt crashed his motorcycle and his mom stitched him up. It's very rom-com, he texts, except with more blood and a concussion. I tell him about my family too, about Cameron and his drawings, about Mom and her constant worry, about Dad, but only a little, only the edges. How did he die, Dylan asks, and I appreciate that he doesn't dance around it. Car accident. When I was 8, he was driving home from work and a truck ran a red light. I'm sorry. It was a long time ago. Time doesn't make it hurt less, just different. Yes, exactly that. Is that why you stopped talking, he texts. After Powell's, my finger hovers over the keyboard. How much do I share? How much is too much? Yeah, I type finally. It felt like if I talked about it, I'd have to make it real. And I wasn't ready for it to be real. When did you start talking again? About 6 months later. My mom took me to this grief counselor who gave me a notebook and told me to write down one thing I wanted to say every day. Eventually, I had so many things written down that keeping them all inside seemed harder than just saying them out loud. Do you still write things down? Sometimes when I can't find the right words. I do that too, but with photos instead of words. What do you photograph? There's a long pause. Things I'm afraid to say. I read that message 3 times. 4. Each time it resonates deeper. Like what? Maybe I'll show you someday. I'd like that. Yeah, another pause, then, I'm really glad I ran into you in the library, Mia. I smile at my phone alone in my dark room and type, me too. Day 3. I wake up to 17 messages from Dylan. Most of them are photos, his breakfast toast with peanut butter and banana, his dam, a scruffy terrier mix the sunrise from his bedroom window, pink and gold and impossibly beautiful. The last message says, good morning, hope today doesn't suck. I'm grinning like an idiot. I text back a photo of my ceiling where there's a water stain that looks vaguely like a whale. Moby Dick says good morning back. You have a whale on your ceiling. It's a very small whale, more like a whale suggestion. I like whale suggestions. They're less committal than whale declarations. I laugh out loud. Mom knocks on my door. Mia, you okay in there? Yeah, Mom, just watching something funny. Breakfast in 10 minutes. I hear her footsteps retreat down the hall, and I'm about to text Dylan back when I notice something. The area code on his number 503, same as mine, same as everyone's in Portland. But something makes me pause, makes me pull up the contact I'd saved as Dylan Cooper and really look at it. The number I gave him. I grabbed the corner of notebook paper from my desk, the one I'd written my number on in the library. It's still there, crumpled, but legible. My number 503-555-0147. I check my phone. The number saved in my contacts recipient 503-555-0147. Wait, I open my messages with Dylan. Scroll up to the very first text he sent, the number at the top of the screen 503-555-0174. My heart drops, 174. Not 0147, I gave Dylan the wrong number. Or no, I gave him the right number, but he wrote it down wrong, or I wrote it wrong. The 4 and the 7. My handwriting is terrible and the paper was small and I was nervous and, oh God, the person I've been texting for 3 days isn't Dylan Cooper. It's someone else entirely. My hands start shaking. I read back through our conversations, searching for clues for anything that would tell me who this person really is. The Powell's bookstore story. The boy who helped me with my books 5 years ago. That wasn't Dylan Cooper. Dylan Cooper wouldn't remember that. Dylan Cooper was probably in middle school, somewhere else living his own life, not thinking about a sad 10-year-old girl in a bookstore. But this person, this wrong number remembered, which means they really were there that day, 5 years ago, at Powell's, which means the boy who helped me wasn't a random stranger. He was this person, this Dylan, just not the Dylan I thought. I feel sick and confused and strangely, impossibly a little bit relieved. Because the person I've been talking to for 3 days, the person who's funny and thoughtful and sees me in a way no one else does is real, just not who I thought they were. I stare at my phone at the last message, still waiting for a response. I like whale suggestions. They're less committal than whale declarations. I should tell him, I should explain, I should. But if I tell him this ends, these conversations, these late night texts, this feeling of being understood, all of it disappears. And I'm not ready for it to disappear. So instead I type, "What are you afraid of?" The response comes fast. A lot of things, but mostly disappointing the people I love. Me too. Yeah. There's a pause and I watch the 3 dots appear, disappear, appear again. Can I ask you something? Sure. If you could tell your 10-year-old self one thing, the girl in Powell's, what would it be? I close my eyes. Remember that day, the weight of grief, the silence, the books scattered across the floor like broken promises. I type that she's braver than she thinks and that it's okay to let people help her pick things up. That's a good thing to tell her. What would you tell your 10-year-old self? Another long pause. That who he is now is enough. He doesn't have to be anyone else. My throat tightens. I don't know who this person is, this wrong number Dylan, but I know he's carrying something heavy, something that makes him understand what it's like to feel invisible, to feel like you're always pretending. I want to know more. I want to know everything. But first, I need to get through today. I need to see Dylan Cooper in history class and pretend everything is normal. And I need to figure out what I'm going to do about the fact that I've fallen for someone I've never actually met later that day. History class is torture. Dylan Cooper is back in his usual seat, 2 rows ahead, 1 seat to the left. He's wearing the same soccer hoodie as Monday, and his hair is slightly messy like he ran his fingers through it too many times. He looks exactly like the person I thought I'd been texting, but he's not. Mr. Harrison drones on about westward expansion, about the myth of empty land and the reality of violence. I try to take notes, try to focus. My phone buzzes. I shouldn't look. I know I shouldn't. I look. Random question: if you could live in any time period, when would it be? Not Dylan Cooper. The other Dylan. The real one. I glance up at Dylan Cooper. He's taking notes, completely focused on the lecture. His phone is face down on his desk, untouched. My heart sinks. I text back. Probably the 1920s, jazz-age silent films, Art Deco. Everything felt design. Interesting choice. I'd pick the Renaissance. All that art and discovery. Plus Leonardo da Vinci. You like art. I like things that are beautiful. Art, music, photography, well-designed buildings. I want to study architecture someday. Architecture. Dylan Cooper wants to play soccer. I know this because Sarah Mitchell talked about it in English class, about how he's getting scouted by colleges, how he'll probably get a full scholarship. This isn't him. This isn't him, and I need to tell the truth, but I can't make myself type the words. That's cool. I text instead. What kind of architecture? Sustainable stuff, buildings that work with nature instead of against it. I know it sounds pretentious. It sounds thoughtful. You're easy to talk to. Has anyone ever told you yet? No, usually people say I'm too quiet. Quiet isn't the same as not worth hearing. I read that message 5 times, the bell rings. Class is over. I gather my things slowly, watching Dylan Cooper pack up his backpack. He's talking to Sarah again, laughing about something. He hasn't looked at me once. Because why would he? He doesn't have my number. Doesn't know my name beyond that quiet girl from history. I slip out before he can notice me watching. That night, Cameron is in my room again, sitting on the beanbag chair with his sketchbook. Can I draw you? He asks. Why? Because you look different lately. Happier. I want to capture it before it goes away. That's dark, Cam. I'm 12. We're all dark. I laugh despite myself. Fine, draw me. He gets to work, his pencil scratching across paper. I lie on my bed, phone in hand, staring at my messages with not Dylan Cooper. We've been texting all afternoon about architecture and books and the strange coincidence of meeting 5 years ago at Powell's and then reconnecting now. Except we haven't reconnected, not really, because he thinks I'm someone else, someone he met recently, someone who gave him their number, and I'm letting him think that. Mia, Cameron's voice breaks through my thoughts. Yeah, are you lying to someone? My blood goes cold. What? In the drawing, you looked happy, but also guilty, like you're doing something you shouldn't. I'm not lying to anyone, but the words taste false even as I say them. Okay, Cameron says, not believing me. We sit in silence. He draws. I text. Can I tell you something? Not Dylan writes. Of course, for them. I'm kind of nervous about you coming to photo club tomorrow. Why? Because texting is easy, it's safe, but meeting in person, that's when people realize I'm not actually that interesting. My chest tightens because I understand, because I feel the same way, but I can't go to photo club. Because the Dylan who invited me, Dylan Cooper, doesn't actually know who I am. And the Dylan I've been texting, this sweet, vulnerable person, won't be there. I'm trapped in a lie of my own making. You are interesting, I type. I promise. We'll see. Tomorrow, 4 p.m. Don't back out on me. I won't. Another lie. Add it to the pile. Cameron finishes his drawing, shows it to me. It's good, eerily good. He's captured something in my expression, something I didn't know was there. Hope and fear all tangled up. Thanks, Cam, I say quietly. You're not going to tell me what's wrong, are you? No. Okay, but Mia, whatever you're doing, just don't hurt yourself. He leaves, taking his sketchbook and his 2 old wisdom with him. I'm alone again with my phone and my choices. I could tell the truth. Send a text. Hi. I don't know who you are, but I'm not who you think I am either. We have the wrong numbers. Simple, clean, honest. But then I'd lose these conversations, this connection. And God, I don't want to lose this. So instead, I make a different choice. I text, what if I told you I can't come to photo club tomorrow? I'd be disappointed, but I'd understand. What if I said I wanted to keep texting instead, just for a while longer? I'd wonder why, but I'd say yes. And why would you say yes? Because talking to you is the best part of my day, and I'm not ready to give that up yet. I close my eyes, feel the weight of what I'm doing. This is wrong. I know it's wrong, but I text back anyway. Mine too. The best part, I mean. So we'll keep texting for now. For now. Good night, Mia. Good night, Dylan. I lie in the dark, phone on my chest, and wonder who is he really, and what happens when he finds out who I really am. I don't go to photo club on Thursday. Instead, I sit in the library in my corner by the window and watch the clock tick past 4 p.m., past 4:15, past 4:30. My phone stays silent. Dylan Cooper walks past the library at 4:45, backpack slung over his shoulder, talking on his phone. He doesn't look in, doesn't see me sitting here in the fading October light. Why would he? At 5:07, my phone finally buzzes. Hey, you didn't make it to photo club. Not Dylan Cooper, the other Dylan, my Dylan. Except he's not my Dylan. He's a stranger I've lied to for 4 days. Something came up, sorry. No worries. It was just me and this guy Trevor anyway. He only came because his girlfriend made him. Sounds thrilling. It was deeply mediocre. You didn't miss much. But I did miss something. I missed the chance to be honest, to stop this before it goes further. Can I ask you something? I type. Always. Why did you really text me about Powell's the first night? There's a long pause. I watch the three dots appear and disappear 3 times. Because I've thought about you for 5 years. The girl with the burnt eyes and the armful of books. And when I got your number, I thought maybe it was fate. A second chance. Does that sound crazy? My throat tightens. No, it sounds honest. I'm trying to be. Honest, I mean. It's harder than it should be. Why is it hard? Because most of the time people don't want the truth. They want the version of you that makes them comfortable. I stare at that message for a long time. What if I want the truth? I type. Then I'd tell you that I'm terrified of disappointing people, that I'm pretending to be someone I'm not, that sometimes I feel like I'm playing a role in my own life and I don't know how to stop. My hands are shaking. I know that feeling. Yeah. Maybe that's why we found each other again, because we both know what it's like to be invisible. But we didn't find each other. We stumbled into each other by accident, by wrong numbers and bad handwriting and cosmic coincidence. And I'm making it worse with every message I send. Dylan. Yeah. Can we meet in person? The 3 dots appear immediately, but the message takes forever to send. I want to, but I'm scared. Of what? That you'll realize I'm not who you think I am. The irony is almost funny. Almost. What if you're exactly who I think you are? Then I'd be lucky, really lucky. So is that a yes? Another long pause. Can I think about it just for a little bit? Of course. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for being honest. The word honest feels like broken glass in my mouth. Friday, I'm at my locker before first period when Dylan Cooper appears beside me. Hey, Dijon, he says. Mia, right. My heart stops, restarts, stutters. Yeah, hi. I wanted to apologize for Monday in the library. I think I came on kind of strong with the whole photo club thing. I stare at him. What? You seemed uncomfortable. I didn't mean to pressure you. You didn't. I stop. Wait, did you text me about photo club? Dylan Cooper looks confused. No, I was going to, but I lost the paper you gave me. Felt like an idiot. I figured if you were interested, you'd ask. The hallway tilts. You lost the paper. Yeah, it was in my jeans pocket and my mom washed them. Very tragic. Anyway, I just wanted to say sorry if I was weird. He's not the one I've been texting. Of course he's not. I knew that. I've known since Wednesday. But hearing him say it, hearing him confirm that he never texted me, that he lost my number, that every conversation I've had has been with someone else makes it real in a way it wasn't before. It's okay, Amanda. You weren't weird. Cool. Well, see you in history. He walks away, and I'm left standing at my locker holding my chemistry textbook, feeling like the ground just opened up beneath me. If Dylan Cooper lost my number, then who has it? Who is the person who's been texting me for 5 days? And how did they know about Powell's? I spend lunch in the computer lab trying to figure out who owns the number 503-555-0174. Reverse phone lookup nothing. Social media search nothing. I tried texting the number. Can I ask you something? What school do you go to? The response comes fast. Roosevelt. Why the Roosevelt High, 3 miles from Lincoln? Just curious. We've been talking for almost a week and I realize I don't know basic stuff about you. Fair. What do you want to know? Everything. Nothing. I don't know anymore. What's your last name? Torres. Dylan Torres. Very exciting, I know. Dylan Torres, not Dylan Cooper. A completely different person. I open a new browser tab, type Dylan Torres Roosevelt High Portland into the search bar. The first result is a sports article from the Roosevelt High website. Junior Dylan Torres leads Rough Riders to state championship semifinals. There's a photo, a boy in a soccer uniform, dark hair, brown eyes, wide smile. He's holding a trophy surrounded by teammates. I click on the image, zoom in, and my heart stops because I know this face. Not from school, not from history class or the library or any of the places I thought I knew Dylan Cooper from. I know this face from 5 years ago, from Powell's bookstore. From the day I dropped my books and a boy with kind eyes helped me pick them up. This is him. Dylan Torres is the boy from Powell's Falls. The realization hits me like a wave, overwhelming, impossible to fight against. He wasn't lying. He really did remember. 5 years later, across 3 miles and 2 different high schools and one wrong phone number, he found me again. Or I found him, or we found each other. I don't know anymore. All I know is this: the person I've been texting, the person who sees me, who understands me, who makes me feel less invisible, he's real, and I've been lying to him. That night Cameron is in trouble again. I can tell because he's too quiet at dinner. He pushes his food around his plate, doesn't make eye contact, flinches when Mom asks about his day. It was fine, he says, just fine. Mom presses, nothing interesting happened. Nope. Did you turn in your science project? Yep. Cameron, please look at me when I'm talking to you. He looks up. His left eye is slightly puffy. There's a faint bruise on his cheekbone, barely visible, but definitely there. Mom doesn't notice. She's too busy serving more rice, checking her phone for work emails, managing the 1,000 small details that keep our fractured family functioning. But I notice. After dinner, I corner Cameron in the hallway. What happened to your face? Nothing. Cam, I fell during PE. It's not a big deal. You're lying. So are you. He looks at me with those two old eyes. You've been lying about something for days. I can tell. So maybe we both keep our secrets. He pushes past me into his room, slams the door. I stand in the hallway feeling like the worst sister in the world. My phone buzzes. Dylan Torres. Random question. What's your biggest fear? I sit on my bed, stare at the message. My biggest fear used to be losing someone else I love. Used to be staying silent. Used to be being invisible forever. But right now, my biggest fear is this: that I'll tell Dylan the truth and he'll realize I'm not worth knowing. That I'm not brave enough to be myself, I type. I think you're braver than you know. You don't know me that well. I know enough. I know you take photos of things other people miss. I know you stopped talking for months after your dad died and found your voice again. I know you're kind to your brother even when he's being difficult. That takes courage. Tears sting my eyes. How does he know about Cameron? I mentioned my brother. You said he was having trouble at school. On Wednesday. You seemed worried. He remembers. He actually pays attention. He is having trouble. I think he's being bullied. But he won't talk about it. That's rough. Is there anything you can do? I don't know. If I tell my mom, she'll freak out. But if I don't tell her, it might get worse. Well, sounds like you're caught between protecting him from bullies and protecting him from your mom's fear. Yes, exactly that. When did you get so wise? I'm not wise. I'm just good at seeing other people's problems. My own problems. Total mess. What kind of problems? There's a long pause. The kind where everyone expects you to be one thing, but you want it to be something else. And you don't know how to tell them without letting them down. Your parents, my dad mostly, he played soccer in college. It's his whole identity. And he's built his dreams for me around the same thing. Soccer scholarship, D1 school, maybe even professional if I'm good enough. But you want to study architecture. Yeah, which feels selfish when I say it out loud. Like my dad works 60 hours a week so I can have opportunities he didn't have. And I'm going to throw it away because I'd rather design buildings. It's not throwing it away, it's choosing your own path. Tell that to my dad. Have you tried? No, because I'm a coward. You're not a coward. How do you know? Because you helped a 10-year-old girl pick up her books when you could have walked away. Because you texted a stranger about something that happened 5 years ago. Because you're honest about being scared. That's not cowardice. That's the opposite. The three dots appear and disappear for a full minute. Can I tell you something? Always. I think I'm falling for you. My breath catches. You don't even know me. I know enough, and I want to know more. All of it. Every part. What if you don't like what you find? What if I do? I close my eyes. Let the weight of this settle over me. He's falling for me. For Mia. For the girl I've been in our messages, honest and vulnerable and real. But he's falling for someone who's been lying about the most basic thing, who she is. I have to tell him. I have to. but not yet. Not tonight. Dylan, yeah. I'm scared too. Of what? Of this. Of feeling this way. Of wanting something I might not deserve. You deserve everything good, Mia. Please believe that. I want to. God, I want to. Saturday, I wake up to 12 missed calls from a number I don't recognize. No voicemails, just calls one after another, starting at 3 a.m. My stomach drops. I call back. A woman answers. Hello. Hi, someone called me from this number. Oh, are you Mia? Yes. This is Sarah Rodriguez. I'm calling from Roosevelt High. I'm the assistant coach for the boys soccer team. Dylan Torres had your number listed as his emergency contact. The world tilts. What? Why would he? Is he okay? He's fine now, but he was injured during a game last night. Took a bad hit to his knee. We couldn't reach his parents and your number was the only other contact in his phone. Is he at the hospital? He was. They released him around 2 a.m. His dad picked him up. I'm just calling to let you know in case you were worried. I stopped. I didn't know there was a game last night. It was an away game. State semifinals. We lost. Her voice is heavy with disappointment. Is his knee okay? The doctor said it's a severe sprain, maybe some ligament damage. They won't know for sure until the swelling goes down. But he's out for the rest of the season, maybe longer. My chest tightens. I think about Dylan's messages, about his dad's dreams, about soccer scholarships in D1 schools. Thank you for calling, I say. Of course. And Maya Dylan was asking for you. At the hospital. Just thought you should know. She hangs up and I'm left sitting in my bed holding my phone trying to make sense of this. Why did Dylan have my number listed as his emergency contact and why didn't he tell me about the game? I open our messages, scroll back to Friday night to our conversation about fear and falling and deserving good things. He never mentioned a game, never said he was nervous, never asked me to come watch. Why? I'm about to text him when I see it. A new message sent at 3:47 a.m. I lied to you, my heart stops. Not about the important stuff, but about some things. And I'm sorry, I should have told you the truth from the beginning. What truth? I know we have the wrong numbers. I read that message 10 times. I know we have the wrong numbers. He knows. Dylan Torres knows we've been texting by mistake, which means he knew on Thursday when he asked if we could meet, knew on Wednesday when we talked about fear, maybe even knew that first night when he texted about Powell's. How long has he known? My fingers shake as I type, how long? The response comes immediately. Since Tuesday, the girl I got the number from, the one I thought was you, texted me to say she'd given me the wrong number by accident. She apologized, said she'd mixed up two different guys named Dylan. Tuesday. He's known since Tuesday, 3 days before I figured it out. Why didn't you tell me? Same reason you didn't tell me when you figured it out on Wednesday. My blood runs cold. How did you know I figured it out? Because you asked if we could keep texting instead of meeting. Because your messages got careful. Because I know you, Mia. Even through a screen, I know you. I can't breathe. He knew. The whole time. He knew I was lying and he let me. Why I type? Because I was scared. Because talking to you is the best thing that's happened to me in years. Because I thought if we met in person, you'd realize I'm not who you thought I was. So we've both been lying. We've both been scared. I stare at that message, at the truth of it. Your knee, the coach called me. She said I was your emergency contact. I put your number in my phone the first night, in case something happened and I needed someone to talk to. I forgot to take it out of the emergency contact field. That's not how emergency contacts work. I know, I'm an idiot. Are you okay? Physically, I'll live. Emotionally, I'm not sure yet. What did your dad say? There's a long pause. He said I ruined everything, that I should have been more careful, that this was my one shot and I blew it. Dylan, I'm so sorry. Don't be, he's right. I messed up. It was an accident. Was it? Or was it my body finally saying what I've been too afraid to say out loud? I read that message 3 times and something clicks into place. You didn't want to play last night. No. But you did anyway. Yeah. Why? Because disappointing my dad is worse than hurting myself. Or at least that's what I've been telling myself. My throat tightens. I think about Cameron, about the bruise on his face, about the way he's protecting our mom from the truth even though it's killing him. We're all doing it, all of us. Hurting ourselves to protect the people we love. Can I come see you? I type before I can stop myself. You don't have to do that. I know, but I want to. Why? Because you're hurt and because we need to stop lying to each other. Mia, if you come here, you'll see me, the real me, not the person you've been imagining. Good, because I'm tired of imagining. What if I'm disappointing? What if you're not? There's a long pause. Then 2847 S.E. Hawthorne, apartment 6. But Mia, I'm nervous. Me too. That's comforting. Isn't it? I tell Mom I'm going to the library. She looks up from her laptop. She's been working from home more since Dad died, like if she stays close enough, she can protect us from everything that hurts. Do you need a ride? She asks. No, I'll take my bike. Text me when you get there. Mom, it's like 2 miles. Mia, text me. Okay. I grab my jacket, my phone, Dad's Polaroid camera. I'm not sure why I'm bringing the camera. Maybe because it feels like armor. Maybe because I need something familiar when everything else is about to change. Cameron is in his room. His door is closed. I knock softly. What? I'm going out. Are you okay? Why wouldn't I be? If you need to talk. I don't. Okay, but I'm here always. Silence. Then quieter, I know. The ride to S.C. Hawthorne takes 30 minutes. Portland is beautiful in October, all gold leaves and gray skies, and the smell of rain that hasn't fallen yet. I pass coffee shops and vintage stores and murals painted on brick walls, couples holding hands, families with strollers, people living their normal Saturday lives while mine is about to split open. 2847 S.E. Hawthorne is a brick building with a bright blue door. I lock my bike to a rack outside, check my phone. Dylan hasn't texted. Maybe he changed his mind. Maybe he realized this is a terrible idea. Maybe he's right. I'm about to get back on my bike when the blue door opens. And there he is, Dylan Torres. He's wearing sweatpants and a Roosevelt high hoodie. His left leg is wrapped in a brace. He's leaning on crutches. His dark hair is messy like he just woke up. His eyes, those kind, careful eyes I remember from Powell's, are fixed on me. We stare at each other. 5 years, 3 miles, one wrong number, and here we are. Hi, he says finally. Hey, you came. I said I would. I know, but I didn't believe it. We stand there frozen until Dylan steps back and gestures inside. Do you want to come up, or we could talk out here? Whatever makes you comfortable. Up is fine. I follow him inside. The building smells like old wood and coffee. We take an elevator to the second floor. Dylan moves slowly on his crutches, wincing occasionally. Does it hurt? I ask. Yeah, but it's fine. I've had worse. Have you? He looks at me over his shoulder, and there's something in his expression, something vulnerable and honest that makes my chest tighten. No, he admits. This is pretty bad. Apartment 6 is small but cozy. There's a couch with a blanket draped over it, a coffee table covered in textbooks and sketches, walls decorated with architectural prints and family photos. My parents are at work, Dylan says. They both pull weekend shifts. It's just me. Okay. Do you want something to drink, water, coffee? I can't really make coffee right now, but we have instant. I'm okay. He nods, lowers himself carefully onto the couch. I sit in the chair across from him, and for a long moment, neither of us speaks. Then Dylan says, You're shorter than I thought you'd be. I blink. What? Sorry, that sounded weird. I just mean, I've been picturing you for 5 years, and somehow I always imagined you taller. I'm 5'4". I know that now. A smile tugs at my lips despite everything. You're different too. Yeah. You're more, I search for the word, more real. Is that good or bad? I don't know yet. He laughs and the sound is warm and a little bit sad. Fair enough. I look around his apartment at the sketches on the coffee table. They're good buildings with clean lines and lots of window structures that seem to grow out of the landscape instead of imposing on it. Did you draw those? Yeah. They're just concepts. Nothing serious. They're beautiful. Thanks. He shifts, wincing. So, should we talk about the fact that we've been lying to each other? My stomach drops. Yeah, probably. You go first. Why me? Because I'm injured and on painkillers. I have an excuse to be a coward. Despite everything, I almost laugh. Okay, fine. I take a breath. I gave Dylan Cooper my number in the library, but I wrote it down wrong. Or he read it wrong, one of those. And when you texted me that first night, I thought you were him. And then when I realized you weren't, I didn't know how to tell you. Why not? Because talking to you felt good. Really good. And I was scared that if I told you the truth, it would stop. Dylan nods slowly. That makes sense, Darshai, ma'am. Your turn. He runs a hand through his hair. The girl I got the number from, her name is Mia, too. Weird coincidence, we met at a coffee shop on Sunday. She seemed cool. We talked about photography. She gave me her number. But she wrote down the wrong number. Put a 7 where there should have been a 4. So when I texted, I got you instead. When did you realize? Tuesday. The real Mia, the one from the coffee shop, texted me to apologize and give me the right number. Said she'd been distracted and mixed up 2 different guys she'd given her number to. Did you text her back? No, because by Tuesday I had already been talking to you. And talking to you was better than anything that I'd felt in months, maybe years. But you didn't tell me. No, because I'm a coward too. We sit in silence. Outside, rain starts to fall, that soft Portland rain. That sounds like whispers. So what now? I ask finally. I don't know. What do you want? I want to know who you really are. Okay? What do you want to know? Everything. Dylan smiles, and it's the first real smile I've seen from him since I arrived. That might take a while. I have time. We talk for 3 hours. He tells me about his family, about his dad, Roberto Torres, who immigrated from Mexico when he was 19 with $50 and a dream of opening his own auto shop. About his mom, Elena, who works night shifts at a hospital so Dylan can have a better life. About the pressure of being the first in his family to go to college. About carrying everyone's hopes on his shoulders and not knowing how to put them down. I tell him about my family, about death and the accident and the year of silence that followed, about mom's constant worry that's both protective and suffocating, about Cameron and the bruise on his face and my fear that I'm failing him the same way I failed myself. We talk about Powell's, about that day 5 years ago when we were both different people, him 11 and shy me 10, and drowning in grief. I think about that day a lot, Dylan says. You looked so small, so sad, and I didn't know what to say to make it better. You said the perfect thing. You told me the secret garden was your favorite too. It was, is, mine too. He smiles. I know. You mentioned it in one of your texts. I did. Yeah, when we were talking about books that changed us. You said the secret garden taught you that broken things can grow again. I don't remember saying that, but it sounds like something I would say. What did it teach you, I ask? That sometimes the only way to heal is to let other people in. Even when it's scary, the rain gets heavier, the afternoon light fades to gray. Dylan shifts on the couch, grimaces. Do you need more painkillers? I ask. Probably, but they make me sleepy and I don't want to fall asleep while you're here. I can leave if you need to rest. No. The word comes out fast. Sorry, I don't want you to leave yet. I don't want to leave either. Yeah. He looks at me and there's something in his eyes, something vulnerable and hopeful and scared that makes my heart stutter. Can I take your picture? I ask suddenly. Dylan blinks. What? Your picture for my photography project, Things That Are Broken. I'm not broken. Neither is the thing I want to photograph. He studies me for a moment, then nods. Okay. I pull out Dad's Polaroid, look through the viewfinder, try to find the right angle. Dylan on the couch surrounded by his architecture sketches, his injured leg propped up, his eyes fixed on something outside the window, rain blurring the glass behind him. Not broken, just healing. Click. Whir. The photo slides out. We watch it develop together. Can I see? Dylan asks when it's finished. I hand it to him. He looks at it for a long time. This is how you see me. Yes. I look sad. You look honest. He hands the photo back and our fingers brush. The touch is electric. Thank you, he says, quietly. For what? For coming here, for seeing me. Thank you for letting me. At 7 p.m., my phone rings. Mom, I have to go, I tell Dylan. Okay. Neither of us moves. Mia, yeah. Can I tell you something? Always. I'm glad we got the wrong numbers. I know that sounds weird, but if we hadn't, I might never have found you again. My throat tightens. Me too. Can I see you again? Like this, in person? Yes. When? Tomorrow. Tomorrow works. I stand. He struggles to stand with his crutches. We face each other in his tiny apartment while rain hammers against the windows. This is weird, right? Dylan says. Meeting like this. Very weird. But good weird. The best weird. He smiles and it transforms his face, makes him look younger, lighter, like the weight he's been carrying just got a little bit easier to hold. Be safe getting home, he says. I will. Text me when you get there. Okay. Mia. Yeah. Really glad you exist. I laugh, surprising myself. I'm glad you exist too. That night I'm lying in bed staring at the photo of Dylan when Cameron knocks on my door. Come in. He shuffles inside looking younger than 12, wearing his Minecraft pajamas and carrying his sketchbook. Can I show you something? He asks. Always. He opens the sketchbook to a page near the back. It's a drawing of me and Dylan, except it's not quite right. Dylan's face is blurred, uncertain, like Cameron drew him from description rather than memory. Who told you about him? I asked. Nobody. I could tell something changed. You've been different, happier, and I wanted to capture it. I look at my brother, at his two old eyes and his bruised face and the way he's trying so hard to protect everyone, even though he's the one who needs protecting. Cam, about the bruise. Don't. We have to talk about it eventually. I know, just not tonight. Okay, but soon. Yeah, soon. He starts to leave, then turns back. Mia, are you going to tell him about how you met? I already did, today. And it was scary and good and honest. Cameron nods slowly. That's good. Honesty is good. Yeah, it is. After he leaves, I text Dylan. I'm home, safe. Good. I was worried. About what, man? That you'd get home and realize today was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. No, bookstore. It was the opposite. What's the opposite of a mistake? I don't know. Fate choice being brave. I like that. Being brave. Me too. Good night, Mia. Good night, Dylan. I lie in the dark holding the photo of him and think about wrong numbers and right people in the way sometimes the best things in life happen by accident. Or maybe not by accident. Maybe by design. Sunday morning, I wake up to chaos. Mom is in Cameron's room. I can hear her voice high-pitched, panicked, the way it gets when her worst fears are confirmed. Cameron Alexander Chen, you tell me who did this right now. I scramble out of bed, run down the hall. Cameron's door is open. Mom is standing over him, holding his shirt, which has a fresh blood stain on the collar. It's nothing, Cameron says. I got a nosebleed, that's all. This is not a nosebleed. This is... Mom's voice breaks. This is too much blood. Mom, I'm fine. You're not fine. Look at your face. Look at... She spots me in the doorway. Mia, did you know about this? My stomach drops. Know about what? Your brother is being bullied. And apparently neither of you thought I should know. Cameron shoots me a betrayed look. You told her? I didn't. His teacher called me this morning. Mom says, Mrs. Patterson, she said Cameron came to school on Friday with a black eye and wouldn't tell her what happened. She's worried. I'm worried. And apparently I'm the last person in this family to know what's going on. She looks at both of us, and I can see it, the fear beneath the anger. The terror that she's failing. That she can't protect us. That she's going to lose us the same way she lost Dad. Mom, I say carefully, can we talk about this, the three of us? I think that's overdue, don't you? We sit in the living room, Mom on the armchair, Cameron and me on the couch. For a long moment, nobody speaks. Then Cameron says, there's this kid, Marcus. He's been giving me a hard time since school started. What kind of hard time, Mom? Mom's voice is carefully controlled. He calls me names, pushes me, steals my stuff. Yesterday, Cameron swallows. He cornered me after school with two of his friends. They said I was weird, that my drawings were creepy, and when I tried to walk away, Marcus punched me. Mom's face goes white. Did you tell a teacher? No. Why not? Because I knew you'd freak out, and I didn't want you to worry more than you already do. I know. Cameron, I'm your mother. Worrying is my job. But it's not just worrying, it's too much. You're so scared all the time, and I can't fix that. And when bad things happen, it makes it worse. So I tried to handle it myself. Mom closes her eyes. When she opens them again, there are tears on her lashes. You're 12 years old. You shouldn't have to handle bullies by yourself. That's what I'm here for. But if I tell you everything, you'll never let me go anywhere. You'll homeschool me or switch schools or do something that makes it worse. Is that really what you think of me? Cameron doesn't answer. The silence is answer enough. Mom looks at me. Did you know I suspected he had bruises, but he asked me not to tell you. So you didn't. I was trying to figure out the right way to help him. The right way is to tell me, I'm his mother. I'm your mother. I can't protect you if you don't let me know what's happening. She's right. I know she's right. But Cameron's right too, because Mom's fear, however justified, has made it hard for us to be honest with her. Mom, I say carefully, can I say something? Of course. I know you're scared. I know losing Dad I know it changed everything. But Cameron and we're scared too. We're scared that if we tell you when bad things happen, your fear will make them bigger, that you'll try to protect us so much that we won't be able to live. Mom stares at me. Is that really how you see me? As someone who suffocates you? No, as someone who loves us so much that she can't see we're drowning. The words hang in the air. Harsh, true, necessary. Mom's face crumples. She covers her mouth with her hand. I don't know how to do this, she whispers. I don't know how to keep you safe without being terrified all the time. Maybe you don't keep us safe, I say gently. Maybe you just stay close and trust that we'll tell you when we need help. And will you tell me? I look at Cameron. He nods slowly. Yeah, I say, we will. Mom wipes her eyes, looks at Cameron. Tomorrow we're going to the school. We're talking to the principal. And we're making sure Marcus never touches you again. Okay, okay. And from now on we talk, all of us, even when it's hard, even when it's scary. Deal. Deal. She pulls both of us into a hug tight and fierce and full of the kind of love that's complicated and imperfect and real. And for the first time in years, I think maybe we're going to be okay. Later that day, I'm at Dylan's apartment again. This time with my laptop and chemistry homework. We're sitting on opposite ends of his couch, supposedly studying, but mostly just talking. How did it go with your ma? Dylan asks. Good. Hard. It did. But could he? That's the best kind of hard. Yeah, I look at him. What about your dad? Have you talked to him since Friday? Dylan's expression darkens. Not really. He's barely speaking to me. When he does, it's just disappointment. You ruined your future. You threw away your shot. That kind of thing. That's not fair. Isn't it? I did ruin things. The injury. It's bad, Mia. The doctor said even if it heals, I might not be able to play at the same level. Which means no scholarship. Which means you can study what you actually want to study. He looks at me surprised. That's an optimistic take. Is it wrong? So, no, but it feels selfish. Why? Because my parents sacrificed everything for me, and I'm going to repay them by giving up on their dreams. They're not your dreams, though, right? Dylan sighs, runs a hand through his hair. No, they're not. So maybe this injury is the universe giving you permission to want something different. Or maybe it's the universe punishing me for being ungrateful. Do you really believe that? I don't know what I believe anymore. We sit in silence. Outside, the rain has stopped. Weak October sunlight filters through the clouds. Can I show you something? Dylan asks suddenly. Sure. He pulls out his phone, scrolls through his photos, then hands it to me. It's a building, or rather a sketch of a building, all glass and natural wood, with a green roof and solar panels and walls that curve like waves. What is it, I ask? A community center. For my neighborhood. There's this empty lot on SE Division that's been vacant for years. I've been designing a space that could go there. Free classes, after school programs, a library art studios, a place where people can gather. Dylan, this is incredible. It's just a dream. Dreams are important. Not as important as making my parents proud. What if making them proud means being honest about who you are? He takes the phone back, looks at the design. I'm scared to tell them. I know. What if they don't understand? Then you keep trying until they do. And if they never do, then at least you lived your truth. Dylan looks at me, and there's something in his expression, gratitude and fear, and something else, something deeper, that makes my heart race. How did you get so wise, he asks. I'm not wise, I just know what it's like to live a lie, and I don't want that for you. Is that what we were doing with the wrong numbers? Yeah, but not anymore. No, not anymore. He reaches across the couch, takes my hand. His palm is warm, slightly calloused. The touch sends electricity up my arm. Thank you, he says. For what? For seeing me, the real me. Thank you for letting me. We sit like that for a long time, hands linked, watching the sunlight move across his apartment walls. And I think this is what honesty feels like. This is what connection feels like when it's real. Monday, the week starts with a phone call that changes everything. Dylan texts me at 7 a.m. Doctor called. They want to do surgery. I'm still in bed, hair tangled, eyes barely open. I text back, what kind of surgery? ACL reconstruction. They think if I do it now and rehab properly, I could be back on the field by next season. Maybe even play D1. My heart sinks. That's good news, right? The three dots appear and disappear 5 times before his response comes through. I don't know, is it, do you want to play again? My dad does. That's not what I asked. There's a long pause. Can I call you Tot? Yeah. My phone rings 30 seconds later. Dylan's voice is rough, like he hasn't slept. Hey. Hey. I sit up, pull my knees to my chest. Are you okay? The doctor said if I don't do the surgery, the knee might never heal properly. I'll have chronic pain, limited mobility, and definitely no soccer. But if you do the surgery, 6 months of rehab, painful, expensive, but there's a chance, a good chance that I could play again. So what's the problem? He laughs, but there's no humor in it. The problem is I don't know if I want to, and I don't know how to tell my dad that. Outside my window, rain starts to fall. Portland in October is rain, and more rain, and brief moments of sunlight that feel like gifts. Dylan, what do you want? I want to design buildings. I want to go to architecture school. I want to create spaces that make people feel safe and seen and like they belong somewhere. Then do that. It's not that simple. Why not? Because my dad has been planning my soccer career since I was 6 years old. Because my mom works night shifts so I can afford club fees and travel tournaments. Because they sacrificed everything, and if I throw it away because of one injury, you're not throwing anything away, you're choosing your own path. By disappointing them, by being honest with them. Silence, I can hear him breathing, can almost feel the weight pressing down on him through the phone. What if they can't forgive me, he asks quietly. Then they're choosing their dreams over your happiness. And that's not love, that's control. Mia, I'm serious. Parents are supposed to want what's best for their kids, not what they want for themselves. You make it sound easy. It's not easy, but it's necessary. He's quiet for so long, I think the call dropped. Dylan, I'm here. I'm scared. I know. Will you come with me when I tell him? My breath catches. You want me there? Yeah, I need someone who sees me, the real me, and that's you. Tears sting my eyes. Okay, when tonight he gets home from work at 6. I'll be there. Thank you. You don't have to thank me. Yeah, I do, because you're the only person who makes me feel like I'm not crazy for wanting this. You're not crazy, you're just brave. I don't feel brave. That's what makes it brave. School is a blur. I go through the motions history, English, chemistry lunch, but my mind is somewhere else. With Dylan. With the conversation that's coming tonight. In history class, Dylan Cooper sits in his usual seat. He raises his hand to answer a question about the Treaty of Paris. He laughs at something Sarah Mitchell says. He lives his normal, uncomplicated life, while 3 miles away, another Dylan is preparing to break his father's heart. At lunch, I sit alone in the library, pull out my notebook, try to write. Things I'm afraid of, losing people I love, being invisible, disappointing my mother, that I'm not enough. I stare at the list, cross out the last line, write it again. That I'm not enough for Dylan Torres. Because that's the real fear, isn't it? That when he figures out who I really am, quiet, anxious, nothing special, he'll realize he made a mistake. My phone buzzes. Dylan. Random question, what's your favorite photo you've ever taken? I think about it. Scroll through my camera roll. Stop on a photo from last year. There's this one of my dad's empty chair at the kitchen table. Morning light coming through the window. His coffee mug still sitting there, even though he's been gone for 7 years. My mom can't bring herself to put it away. Can I see it? I send the photo. His response comes fast. That's beautiful and heartbreaking and perfect. Why perfect? Because it's honest. It shows that grief isn't something that ends. It's something that becomes part of your furniture. I read that message 3 times. I never thought of it that way. That's the thing about good photography. It shows us things we know but haven't named yet. Is that what you want to do with architecture? Show people things they haven't named? Yeah, exactly that. Buildings that feel like home even if you've never been there before. Spaces that make you remember you're human. That's beautiful. Thanks. I'm nervous about tonight. I know, but you're ready. How do you know? Because you've been ready. You just needed permission to want something different. And you're giving me that permission. No, you're giving it to yourself. I'm just here to remind you. At 5:45 p.m., I'm standing outside Dylan's apartment building holding my bike helmet and trying not to throw up. The blue door opens. Dylan appears on crutches wearing dark jeans and a button-down shirt like he's going to a job interview instead of a conversation with his father. You came, he says. I said I would. I know, but part of me thought you'd realize this is too much, that you'd bail. I don't bail. No, you don't. He smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Ready. Are you? No, but I'm doing it anyway. We take the elevator up. My heart hammers against my ribs. This isn't my family. This isn't my conversation. But somehow it feels like it matters to me almost as much as it matters to Dylan. Inside the apartment, Roberto Torres is already home. He's a big man, broad shoulders, work rough, hands, a face that's weathered but kind. He's sitting at the kitchen table, eating something from a Tupperware container, still wearing his mechanic's uniform. He looks up when we enter. His gaze moves from Dylan to me. Who's this? He asks. This is Mia, my Aisha's friend. Friend. Roberto sets down his fork. You got a girlfriend and didn't tell us. She's not my girlfriend. Dylan glances at me. She's important, and I wanted her here. Roberto studies me for a long moment. I fight the urge to look away. Nice to meet you, Mr. Torres, I say. Call me Roberto. He gestures to the table. You kids want food. Elena made tamales. Maybe later. Dylan moves to the table, lowers himself carefully into a chair. I sit beside him. Dad, I need to talk to you about something. Roberto's expression shifts, wariness replacing warmth. The surgery. Yeah. Doctor said you can get it done next week. Full recovery in 6 months. You'll be ready for senior season. I know what the doctor said. So what's the problem? Dylan takes a breath. I can see his hands shaking under the table. The problem is, I don't want the surgery. The room goes quiet. Outside, a siren wails. A dog barks. Life continues while this moment fractures. What do you mean you don't want it? Roberto's voice is carefully controlled. I mean I don't want to play soccer anymore. Because of one injury. No, because I never wanted to play soccer in the first place. Roberto stares at his son like he's speaking a foreign language. That's not true. You love soccer. No, Dad, you love soccer. I tolerate it. You've been playing since you were 6. Because you signed me up, because it made you happy, because I didn't know how to tell you I wanted something else. What else? Roberto's voice rises. What else is there? Architecture. I want to study architecture. I want to design buildings. I want to create things that last. Buildings. Roberto says it like a curse. You want to throw away a soccer scholarship for buildings. I want to stop living your dream and start living mine. Roberto pushes back from the table stands. He's a big man, and standing he seems even bigger. But Dylan doesn't flinch. You ungrateful. Roberto stops himself, looks at me. You put this idea in his head. No, sir, Dylan's had this dream for a long time. He just didn't know how to tell you. And who are you to speak in my house? Dad, Dylan starts. No, this girl comes in here and suddenly you want to throw your life away. I'm not throwing anything away. You're choosing to disrespect your family. Your mother and I work ourselves to death so you can have opportunities we never had, and this is how you repay us. By being honest about who I am. By being selfish. The word hangs in the air like smoke. Dylan's face goes pale, but when he speaks, his voice is steady. Maybe I am being selfish, but I'd rather be selfish and honest than selfless and miserable. Roberto looks at his son for a long moment. Then he turns and walks out of the kitchen. A door slams somewhere in the apartment. Dylan sits frozen. His hands are still shaking. I reach under the table, take his hand. That went badly, he says. Yeah. He hates me. No, he's hurt. There's a difference. Is there? Yes. Dylan closes his eyes. I can't do this, Mia. I can't disappoint him like this. You already did. The hard part's over. The hard part is living with it. Then we'll live with it. Together. He looks at me and there are tears on his lashes. How are you so sure about this, about me? Because I know what it's like to live a lie, and I don't want that for you. What if he never forgives me? Then he's choosing his pride over his son, and that's on him, not you. We sit in silence. The apartment feels too small, too quiet. Then a door opens. Footsteps. Elena Torres appears in the doorway. She's wearing scrubs. She must have just gotten home from a shift. Her dark hair is pulled back, and there are shadows under her eyes, but when she sees us, she smiles. Mijo, you didn't tell me you had company. Mom, this is Mia. Hello, Mrs. Torres. Elena, please. She moves to the kitchen, starts making coffee. Roberto just told me about your conversation. About the surgery. Dylan tenses. Mom, it's okay. I'm not angry. You're not. She turns, looks at her son. No, I'm sad, but not angry. Why sad? Because you've been carrying this alone. Because you were too scared to tell us what you really wanted. She pours coffee into 3 mugs, brings them to the table, sits down. When did you know that you didn't want to play soccer? Dylan stares at his coffee. I don't know, maybe always. But I thought if I was good enough at it, I'd learn to love it. And you and Dad were so proud, and I didn't want to let you down. So you let yourself down instead. I guess. Elena reaches across the table, takes Dylan's hand. Mijo, your father and I came to this country with nothing. We worked hard so you could have choices. And now you're choosing something different than what we imagined, and that's hard for us, especially for your dad. But it's not wrong. Dad said I was being selfish. Your dad is scared. Soccer was his dream. He never got to play beyond high school because he had to work. And he saw you and he thought, here's my second chance. But you're not his second chance. You're your own person. Dylan's voice cracks. I don't want to disappoint you. Then don't lie to us. That's the only way you could disappoint me, by pretending to be someone you're not. They look at each other and I feel like I'm witnessing something private, something sacred. What about the surgery? Dylan asks. That's your choice. If you want to do it, we'll support you. If you don't, we'll support that too. And if I want to study architecture, Elena smiles, then we'll support that most of all. Dylan starts crying, real shaking sobs. Elena moves around the table, pulls him into her arms, and he cries into her shoulder like he's 10 years old again. I look away, give them this moment, and I think this is what love looks like when it's real. Later that night, Elena insists I stay for dinner. We eat tamales at the kitchen table, Dylan, Elena, and me. Roberto stays in his room. Give him time, Elena says. He'll come around. What if he doesn't? Dylan asks. Then you'll keep being honest, and eventually he'll see that your happiness matters more than his dreams. After dinner, Elena excuses herself. She has another shift starting at 10 p.m. Dylan walks me downstairs. We stand outside the building, under the streetlight, and for the first time all day, I can breathe. Thank you, Dylan says. For what? For being there, for not running when things got hard. I told you, I don't bail. Yeah, you did. He shifts on his crutches, winces. Can I ask you something? Always. Why are you doing this? Helping me, I mean. We barely know each other. That's not true. We've been talking every day for 2 weeks. Through a screen? That counts. Does it? Yes, I look up at him. Dylan, I know you. Maybe not all of you, not yet, but I know the parts that matter, and I want to know the rest. Why, hey, because you see me too, and that's rare, and I'm not letting it go. He smiles, and it's the first real smile I've seen from him all day. What if I'm a disaster, he asks. Then you're a disaster, I want to know. That's very romantic. Yeah, very disaster romantic. I laugh despite everything, and is that a thing? It is now. We stand in the October cold, and Dylan reaches out, tucks a strand of hair behind my ear. The touch is gentle, careful like I'm something precious. Mia. Yeah. I'm really glad we got the wrong numbers. Me too. Even though we lied to each other. Especially because we lied to each other. It taught us to tell the truth. He leans down carefully because of the crutches and kisses my forehead. Soft, brief, but enough to make my heart stutter. Good night, Mia. Good night, Dylan. I bike home through the rain, and I'm smiling the whole way. Tuesday, Friday. The week unfolds in a series of small moments that feel like a whole life. Dylan decides not to do the surgery. He tells a doctor. He tells his coach. He tells his teammates. Some of them understand. Most don't. His dad still won't talk to him. But Dylan keeps going. He starts researching architecture programs. He sketches buildings in the margins of his homework. He texts me pictures of designs at 2 a.m. with captions like, too ambitious and what if buildings could breathe? And I text back, not ambitious enough, and then they'd be alive. At school, Cameron's situation gets better. Mom went to the principal. Marcus and his friends got suspended. Cameron gets assigned a new counselor and joins an art club where he can draw without judgment. It's weird, he tells me one night, not being scared all the time. Good weird. The best weird. Mom is different too, softer, more willing to let us make mistakes. She even mentioned the boyfriend David, a teacher at her school, and asked if Cameron and I wanted to meet him sometime. Only if you're ready, she said, and I realized she's learning too, learning to live again. On Thursday, I bring Dylan to Lincoln High. He's nervous he still can't walk without crutches, and entering a new school feels exposing. But I want him to see my world, my corner of the library, my locker with the Polaroids taped inside, the view from the history classroom window where I spend most of third period watching leaves fall. We're in the library when Dylan Cooper walks past. He sees me, waves. Hey, Mia, how's the photography project going? Good, really good. Cool. We'll see you in class. He walks away, and Dylan Torres looks at me, eyebrows raised. That's him, the other Dylan? Yeah, he seems nice. He is nice. But he's not, Dylan trails off. Not the person you've been texting every night for 2 weeks. Not the person who knows about your dad's coffee cup and your fear of being invisible and the way you see beauty in broken things. No, he's not. Good, Dylan grins. Because I'm kind of territorial about being your wrong number. I laugh. Territorial. Very, extremely. Don't even think about getting other wrong numbers. I'll try to restrain myself. We sit in my corner and I show him the photos I've taken for my project. Things that are broken. There's the photo of him, the coffee cup, a cracked window, Cameron's drawing with the torn edge, the beanbag chair with its seams coming apart. These are beautiful, Dylan says. They're just things. No, they're proof that broken doesn't mean ruined. It just means changed. I look at him. When did you get so wise? I'm not wise. I'm just in love with a photographer who sees the world differently. My heart stops. What did you say? Dylan's eyes go wide. I wasn't supposed to say that yet. Why not? Because it's too soon, we barely know each other. And I don't want to scare you away. Dylan, yeah, you're not scaring me away. No, no. So if I said I'm falling in love with you, you wouldn't run. I'd say I'm falling in love with you too. We stare at each other. The library is quiet. Dust motes float in the afternoon light. This is crazy, right? Dylan says. Falling in love with someone you met through a wrong number. Completely crazy. But good crazy. The best crazy. He leans in, and this time when he kisses me, it's not my forehead. It's my lips. Soft and careful and full of promise. And I think this is what it feels like to be seen. Saturday, the art show. Lincoln High's annual art show is always in November. This year, the photography club decided to do a group exhibition, Things That Define Us. I submit 5 photos, including the one of Dylan. Mom comes, Cameron comes, and Dylan Torres comes on crutches with his mother beside him. Roberto doesn't come. Dylan pretends it doesn't hurt, but I can see it in his eyes. The show opens at 6 p.m. The gymnasium is transformed with string lights and white walls and students standing nervously beside their work. My photos are in the far corner. I stand beside them feeling exposed. People walk by, they pause, they look. And then Dylan Cooper appears. Mia, these are incredible. Thanks. He studies the photo of Dylan Torres. Who's this? Before I can answer, Dylan Torres approaches leaning on his crutches. That's me, he says. Dylan Cooper looks between us. You two know each other? Yeah, I say. This is Dylan Torres from Roosevelt. Wait, you're Dylan too. Yep, very confusing, I know. Dylan Cooper laughs. Man, that is confusing, but cool. Nice to meet you. They shake hands and I watch 2 Dylans who've never met, but who both changed my life in different ways. Your photo is really good, Dylan Cooper says to Dylan Torres. You look like you're thinking about something important. Dylan Torres says, looking at me. I was thinking about how sometimes the best things happen by accident. Dylan Cooper nods, not understanding, but polite enough not to press. He moves on to the next exhibit. Dylan Torres stays. You're really talented, he says, looking at my photos. You see things other people miss. So do you. Yeah, you saw me when I was invisible. At Powell's, in the texts, even now. He takes my hand and I let him. We're standing like that hand in hand, looking at photos of broken, beautiful things when I see him. Roberto Torres, he's standing in the doorway of the gymnasium, still in his work uniform, looking uncomfortable and out of place. Dylan sees him too. His whole body tenses. What's he doing here? Maybe he came to see you. Or to yell at me in public. Only one way to find out. Roberto approaches slowly. He looks at the photos, at me, at his son. Elena told me about this, he says. Said I should come. I'm surprised you did, Dylan says. Yeah, well, your mom can be very persuasive. Roberto studies the photo of Dylan. This is you, Bouchard. Yeah, you look sad. I was sad. Why? Dylan glances at me, then back at his father. Because I was pretending to be someone I wasn't, and it was killing me. Roberto is quiet for a long time. Then he says, I've been thinking about what you said, about choosing your dream instead of mine. And I think I owe you an apology. Dylan stares at his father. What? I was so focused on what I wanted for you that I didn't ask what you wanted for yourself. That wasn't fair. Dad, let me finish. Roberto takes a breath. When I came to this country, I had nothing. No money, no connections, just my hands and my willingness to work. And I wanted you to have everything I didn't. But somewhere along the way, I forgot that everything includes the freedom to choose your own path. Dylan's eyes fill with tears. I'm sorry I'm not the soccer player you wanted me to be. I'm sorry I tried to make you into someone you're not. Roberto steps closer. Can we start over? Can you show me who you really are? Dylan nods, unable to speak. Roberto pulls him into a hug, carefully mindful of the crutches, and Dylan breaks. He cries into his father's shoulder and Roberto holds him, and I turn away to give them privacy. But before I can walk away, Roberto says, Mia. I turn back. Thank you, he says, for helping my son find his courage. He always had it, he just needed permission to use it. Roberto nods, looks at his son. Come on, let's go home. Your mom made your favorite, did she? Can Mia come? Roberto glances at me, then smiles. Of course. She's family now. 2 weeks later, Thanksgiving. Dylan and I are sitting on the roof of his apartment building. We've been coming up here every night since he showed me the view. Portland spreads out below us, all lights and rain and possibility. Tell me something I don't know about you, Dylan says. Like what? Anything, something weird, something you've never told anyone. I think about it. Okay, when I was 10, right after Dad died, I used to talk to his coffee cup. Like it was him. I'd tell it about my day, about things I was scared of. And I convinced myself that if I talked to it every day, he'd somehow hear me. That's not weird. That's heartbreaking. Your turn. Tell me something. Okay. Dylan shifts, and even after 2 weeks, his knee still hurts. When I was 11, the day I saw you at Powell's, I went home and wrote you a letter. Told you about all the books I loved, asked if you were okay, put my address at the bottom. What happened to the letter? I never sent it. I was too scared. Do you still have it? Yeah, it's in a box under my bed with all my other coward memorabilia. You're not a coward. I was, until I met you. You mean until you got my number by accident. Best accident of my life. We sit in silence. Below us, the city hums. Dylan, yeah. What happens now? What do you mean, with us, with this? We met because of a mistake. What if we don't work without the mystery? He turns to look at me. Then we'll find out. Together. And if we don't work, at least we'll have tried. At least we'll have been honest. You make it sound simple. It is simple. I want to know you. You want to know me. Everything else is just details. Important details. Sure, but not as important as this. He takes my hand, and I'm struck by how familiar the touch has become. How right. Mia Chen, I'm falling in love with you. Maybe I've been falling since I was 11 years old and saw a sad girl with an armful of books. Maybe it took 5 years and a wrong number to find you again. But now that I have, I'm not letting all of them, unless you want me to. My throat tightens. I don't want you to. Good, because I'm very stubborn. I noticed. And territorial. That too. And completely hopelessly in love with a photographer who sees beauty in broken things. That's good, because I'm completely, hopelessly in love with an architect who wants to build buildings that feel like home. We kiss, and Portland twinkles below us, and somewhere in the city, someone else is probably texting the wrong number and starting their own impossible love story. 3 months later, February. I'm in Dylan's apartment helping him fill out college applications. He's applying to architecture programs. Portland State, University of Oregon. Even a few reach schools like Cornell and MIT. What if I don't get in anywhere, he asks. Then you'll apply again next year. What if I'm not good enough? You are, trust me. He looks at me and there's something in his expression, vulnerability and hope and fear all tangled together. How do you always know what to say? I don't, I'm just honest. Honesty is your superpower. It's our superpower. We learned it together. His phone buzzes, a text from his dad. Come downstairs, I want to show you something. We exchange a glance. Dylan grabs his crutches, he's still using them sometimes on bad days, and we head down to the street. Roberto is standing beside a truck. In the truck bed is a drafting table. What's this? Dylan asks. It was mine, from when I was your age. I wanted to be an architect too before life happened. Dylan stares at the table. Dad, I didn't know. I never told you, but I want you to have it now for your designs. I can't. Yes, you can, and you will, because you're going to do what I couldn't, and I'm going to be proud of you every step of the way. Dylan drops his crutches, pulls his father into a hug. They stand like that for a long time while I watch and try not to cry. Later, we set up the drafting table in Dylan's room. He spreads out his sketches, buildings and community centers, and spaces that feel like home. Mia, he says, yeah, thank you. For what? For texting me back that first night. For not telling me to get lost when you figured out I was the wrong number. For seeing me when I couldn't see myself. You're welcome, but Dylan, you did the same for me. Did I? Yeah, you taught me that it's okay to be seen. That connection is worth the risk. We taught each other. Yeah, we did. He pulls me close and we stand there surrounded by his dreams made visible. And I think this is what love looks like when it's real. Not perfect, not easy, but honest and chosen and worth fighting for. Dylan gets into Portland State's architecture program with a partial scholarship. Not a full ride, not D1 sports glory, but his. Earned by his designs, his essays, his vision for buildings that feel like home. We celebrate at the Grind the Coffee Shop, where this all started in a way, where I was supposed to meet Dylan Cooper, but ended up finding Dylan Torres instead. Mom comes, Cameron comes, Elena and Roberto come. Even Dylan Cooper stops by, congratulates his namesake, then leaves to meet his actual girlfriend, Sarah Mitchell. Because of course. That could have been us, Dylan Torres jokes. No, I say, it couldn't have because we're us, and that's better. Better than a coincidence that led to another coincidence that led to us, exactly that. He kisses me right there in front of everyone, and I don't care who sees, because this is real. This is chosen. This is the best mistake I ever made. End of junior year. We're back on the roof of Dylan's building watching the sunset. Summer is coming. Dylan will do physical therapy and work at his dad's shop and design buildings in his free time. I'll take a photography class and help Cameron Maboy with his art portfolio and try to be present in my own life instead of hiding from it. Tell me something, Dylan says. Like what? Tell me where you see us in 5 years. I think about it, really think. I see you graduating from architecture school, designing your first building, making spaces that help people feel less alone. And I see me taking photos, maybe working for a magazine, maybe just documenting beautiful broken things and loving you through all of it. You think we'll make it 5 years? I think we'll try, and that's enough. Just enough, more than enough. He pulls out his phone, opens our original text thread, the one that started with, I think we met before 5 years ago at Powell's bookstore. Remember this, he asks. How could I forget? I want to remember it forever. Every word, every lie, every truth, all of it. Why bother? Because it's our origin story, the wrong number that turned into the right person. I lean against him, and we watch Portland light up as the sun sets. And I think 5 years ago, a boy helped me pick up my books. 2 weeks ago, the same boy helped me pick up my life. And now we're building something new together. Something honest. Something real. Something worth the wrong number. Something worth everything. 5 years later, I'm standing in front of a building Dylan designed. It's a community center in Southeast Portland. All glass and natural wood and walls that curve like embraces. Inside, there are art studios and a library and a photography darkroom I helped design. Above the door, there's a quote etched in metal. Sometimes the best things happen by accident. Dylan comes up behind me, wraps his arms around my waist. What do you think? He asks. I think it's perfect. Yeah, it feels like home. That's what I was going for. We stand there looking at the building at his dream made real, and I pull out my camera. Dad's old Polaroid still working after all these years. Can I take your picture? I ask, always. I line up the shot, Dylan in front of his building, proud, accomplished, no longer pretending to be anyone but himself. Click. Whir. The photo develops. I hand it to him. This is how I see you, I say. And what do you see? Someone who had the courage to choose himself. Someone who builds spaces that feel like home. Someone I'm proud to love. He looks at the photo for a long time. Then he says, you know what's funny? What? If you hadn't given Dylan Cooper the wrong number that day in the library, none of this would exist. This building, us, any of it. So what you're saying is we owe our entire relationship to my terrible handwriting. Exactly. That's very romantic, isn't it? We laugh and Portland spreads out around us, and somewhere in the city, someone is probably texting the wrong number and starting their own impossible story. But this one is ours. The wrong number that became the right person. The accident that became a choice. The broken thing that became beautiful.